Yesterday we have seen Paleolithic. Today we are going to see Mesolithic. Hello? Online students, am I audible? Can you give some names of Paleolithic? In which locations we identified some Paleolithic sites? हाँ हाँ Okay, that is Neolithic. Paleolithic, we need to see Paleolithic. हाँ उत्तर बाइने हाँ Paleolithic. हाँ हाँ Odai. Okay, fine. Lalmai. In Tamil Nadu there is one more important site. Could you recognize? It starts with A. Attirampakam. Okay. Then okay, in Rajasthan. Didwana. Okay. In Madhya Pradesh. Adamgarh. Now these are the Paleolithic stage up to 10,000 BC. Large tools were utilized by these people, and these people were having very harsh environment because that was also the Ice Age. After Ice Age, around 10,000, 12,000 BC onwards, climate change started. Little bit warmer climate started, and as a result, people got new ideas and also new ways of subsistence. That led to change in the complete subsistence pattern. Suppose if we don't think Mesolithic, after old Stone Age, we have to talk about new Stone Age. That is called Neolithic. But anything in our history, it is not going to be a single event. It's a gradual process. That's why in between we have middle Stone Age that is called Mesolithic. So Mesolithic means middle Stone Age. Middle Stone Age. I will give few definitions. Just you write that. Before that, let us see how questions were coming earlier. Okay. Just you mention just you write down in 2013. In 2013, a Paleolithic and Mesolithic site. A Paleolithic and Mesolithic site. In 2013 itself, second question, a Mesolithic site. Now below that, you just give the number of questions. 2014, one question. Then 2015, 16, one question. 21, 22, one question. Particularly write about 2022, Mesolithic site with burials. 22, Mesolithic site with burials. In 2022, just you give the number second one. Do you identify in which state that particular site was there? Uttar Pradesh. This is the one. So this is the location. So likewise, in different states, different Mesolithic sites were there. Just if you identify correctly, 1 mark. Out of 2.5, 1 mark compulsory. And only you need to write 30 words. You will get 1.5 mark. So there is no chance of cutting down the marks. Out of 2.5, you will get 2.5 if you identify right one. But what is the description for which site you are going to write the description? Atiram Pakam. No, 0. Because unless you identify the exact one, broad description for which site you are going to write, it is not 0 marks only. Unless you identify it, then only description is going to be right one. So minimum 1 you should get. Either it will come 1 or 0. Either it will be more than once you identify the right one. It will be definitely more than 1. It will be 2 marks also, 2.5 also. If you don't identify, 0. Okay. Okay. But site name, which site name you are going to write? Okay. Lodhal. Examiner assume whatever description you are giving, that is for Dholavira, not for the Lodhal. But what is the first line itself? You are going to give the name of the site. The name of the site you have to give. Once you give Dholavira, that means whatever description you give, that is about Dholavira, not for anything else. Suppose if you give the right one, suppose if answer is Lodhal only, you have put the heading Lodhal and you are writing the description. Examiner assumes whatever description is given for Lodhal only, not for Dholavira. Similarly, if you give the heading Dholavira, whatever answer you are going to write, that is for Dholavira. again 0 marks only. That is why it is very, very crucial. We need to identify, we have to work on this front. Because 100% marks, if you identify, once you identify rightly, you will get the 2.5 mark. Because you have a lot of content. And once you identify the Mesolithic site, then whatever characteristics you are going to write for Mesolithic, that is going to be right. This is 20, 22. This is the location they have given. So this one. Now you give first you give the heading climate. Climate. The Pleistocene era made way for Holocene. Pleistocene means Ice Age. Ice Age. About 10,000 years ago. About 10,000 years ago. Many environmental changes took place during this transition. During this transition. Next you give tools. Now for Paleolithic, do you remember what type of tools they used in lower, middle or upper? Or you remember anything, if you remember anything? Yes. Any specific name can you give? Flake tools. Any other? Initially they used core tools, large tools. Then flakes. Then burins, like that they started using. Now when it comes to Mesolithic stage, towards the end of the Pleistocene, there were certain changes in the stone tools. They started making they started making and using very small tools, known as microliths. Known as microliths. Now, with these small tools, what kind of economy they had? When it comes to Paleolithic, what is the major economy or major subsistence pattern? Hunting and gathering. Now, gradually, they are shifting now. The Mesolithic economy was still essentially based on hunting and gathering. But they also started domestication of animals. Domestication of animals. Some sites seem to have been semi-permanent settlements or permanent settlements. Next, to give pottery. Pottery was absent in the initial stages. But in some of the sites, pottery evidence came to light. You draw India map, we will show some important sites. India map. Timeline slightly differs. It is not exactly like a. For example, Paleolithic, up to 12,000 everywhere, because across the globe, this Pleistocene era, it started changing. From Mesolithic onwards, it gradually changed. Thousands of years. For example, in some of the places, Neolithic started at 9,000 BC itself. In West Asia, 9,000 BC itself. But in India, what is the first Neolithic settlements in India? Around 7,000 BC, Mehergarh. So that is 2,000 years difference is there. And when it comes to other parts, for example, Mexico, for example, China, in those places around 6,000 BC, 5,000 BC, like that it started. So a few thousands of gap is there. Within Indian subcontinent also, you are going to see the difference. In northwestern part of India, 7000 BC. But do you know in Jammu and Kashmir when agriculture started? Agriculture started means Neolithic age started. That is around 2500. And when it comes to South India, around 3000 BC. Exactly. So they are contemporary to Harappa. Now you see, one still living in the hunting and gathering, and just, for example, now you take the example. If you take Mumbai on one end of India, western side of India, you take exactly opposite side in Chhattisgarh or Odisha. Tribal people still. So you see the same, even in 2023 also, 21st century also, we see this difference. Now in those times, change is very gradual, very slow. In one part, they were living in urban areas. In one part, still no settlements at all, or just hunting and gathering, or just agriculture began. That is why, very good question you asked, because here you will get one confusion when I say later. Now you don't, right? These places, Neolithic, I am saying around 3000, 2500 BC. But these sites are also called just not only Neolithic. Neolithic Chalcolithic sites. Together. Why we are mentioning? In some places, Neolithic age started, and after some time, Chalcolithic age started. Chalcolithic age means metal started, copper usage. But in this place, stone tools as well as copper at a time, single time started. Why do you think it started? That could be, and also now you see in Indus Valley civilization, they already started, they even gone beyond copper. They started using bronze. That means already usage of metal already there in the Indian subcontinent. So some kind of interaction you might expect. So that's why even today also, suppose if you build a new city, completely new city, smart city, it will not go through the process of village settlement, then semi-urban, then urban, but directly urban. Similarly, in this place also, first time agriculture started. Whenever we say first time agriculture, we say Neolithic. But at the same time, while starting agriculture, they started using copper also. That's why they are also called Neolithic Chalcolithic sites. Hmm. 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 Yes. Hmm. 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 Yes. Deccan. Huh. Hmm. No, no, no. All people are Homo sapiens only. Huh. Suppose. Ha ha ha. In the evolution, around 10,000 BC, that is climate change across the globe. When it comes to across the globe, in the evolution, Homo sapiens and before that Homo erectus, Homo habilis, that was the evolution of entire human being, entire human race. that was happening across the globe. Because the environmental changes are more or less common to entire globe. After 10,000 BC, humans evolved into Homo sapiens sapiens stage. But this difference, this is the physical characteristics you are saying. But when it comes to cultural characteristics, it is going to be different. Culture may be, some people are culturally advanced, some people are culturally not that advanced. But both are, for example, if you say different races, race is different, race. When it comes to Indus Valley civilization, different type of races. For example, Negroid race also there, Mongoloid race also there, Proto-Australoid races also there, but all belongs to Homo sapiens only. That is in the biological evolution. Hmm. हाँ हाँ that is not necessarily the same way, because Homo erectus, what is the time period? Lakhs of years ago. Yeah, 3 lakh years ago onwards, so we say Homo sapiens. That means it may take some 1,000 years or 20,000, 10,000 years gap. But by 10,000 BC, almost all people across the globe, Homo sapiens stage entered. But in the cultural development, there was some kind of gap, thousands of years. For example, here urbanization. And if you see, in the same time period, in Gangetic Valley, they were also living in Stone Age. These people are urban, and these people are rural or forest. Hmm. 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 Huh. Hmm. 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 Huh. Hmm. Huh. Geographically, this is Western Ghat. Here, what range is there? Vindhyan range. Vindhyan range in the middle of the Vindhya. This is one barrier. This is one barrier. And moreover, this is rain shadow region. Rain shadow means lesser amount of rainfall geographically. Seasonal rain, only whenever monsoon comes, only possibility is there. And even during monsoon also, this side more rainfall, that side less rainfall. But when it comes to this is plain area, full of water, more rivers. At that time, the amount of water availability even more, because after exploitation of this soil for these many thousands of years, today it is appearing as a desert. But that time it was very fertile. Dense forest. When it is dense forest, so the soil fertility is more. And moreover, this side also developments were going on in West Asia. So whatever ideas that are coming, they were gradually, slowly penetrating into different parts. So when it comes to early Vedic time period, in this location early Vedic, and later they shifted to this location. Geographically, it moves like this, and it takes time. Suppose even today also, Delhi is developed, Bombay developed, Chennai developed, South India, this part is developed. But northeastern part, why still not that developed comparing with this part? Geographical features. And even today also connectivity is very difficult issue because of the terrain. Huh. Now you see, only small corridor like a Siliguri corridor, chicken neck. Now if you cut off this, then what happens? They are going to be aloof. Now this side also Himalayas, this side also Himalayas, and now this part is going to be isolated. Even today also, even with this kind of advancement, still we are seeing that difference. And in those times, percolation of ideas takes thousands of years. And this side, there was continuous interaction from this side, this side, this side. And in fact, so all these people, what human beings, all came from Africa only. So Africa is this side. So gradually, from first this area experiences some new development, then slowly enters. For example, if you take Southeast Asia, it takes even more later. Because from here, they have to go. Because this is ocean, very difficult to cross at that time. They have to go through this area only, or they have to come from top. That's why you will find this. Yes, already Himalayan barrier is there. That's why they can only interact through this or after crossing the Himalayas. So physical barriers were very, very different and very, very difficult at that time. Even today also, if you want to cross Himalayas, very difficult. But at that time, it is almost impossible to go beyond a village. That is why in the culture, in our Indian culture, we created so many stories. If you cross this river, ghosts are there. If you cross this river, your culture will be different. One of, even in 1857, 19th century, in 1857, General Enlistment Act, yes. Now you see, in 19th century itself we are believing, even today also we are believing in our society. Then in those times, it was very difficult. That's why the percolation of ideas is slow. So as a result, one area very developed, one area still underdeveloped. For example, even today also, this area is still underdeveloped, but completely surrounded with urbanization, surrounded with development because of dense forest, conflicts. So whenever such conflicts are there, the percolation of ideas is going to be different, difficult. These are the reasons, same reasons. Okay, same reasons. That's why in our geographic land, we are going to see different characteristics in different regions. Huh. Huh.
Then now how this happens? Because the conditions is now more better. We better from what was 2500 BCC to 700, more advancement has been done.
Huh.
So why suddenly the South Indian states have become so rich? Because as according to the travelers by Bathmutias, during the reign of Krishna Devaraya, they told that the gold and diamonds were and rubies were sold or like sold on streets.
Huh, huh, huh.
North India sir, diversified because there was only wars were happening. In South India, no
You are talking about which time period? 750 AD or 1500? Krishna Devaraya time period is 1500.
70 to 1500.
Huh, huh.
That period.
Huh, okay.
Suddenly, why the South India did so much that so that they got such a huge amount of temples and more of travelers were came to South India than in North India. North India उस टाइम से तो जो ये थी आए थे in South India and also from Portugal and from Dutch the people came. So why suddenly they got attracted to South India while the North India was and comparatively was better developed as well.
Huh. Actually, this was one question also, previous year question also. The real culture of India laid in Deccan part of in early medieval time period. What are the reasons? You will find these reasons. Yesterday, while discussing about chapters, syllabus, we have discussed one table, socio-political economic. So one is political. If political stability is there, development take place. If political chaos is there, always most of the time people are fighting for the power, or that disturbance will not make the progress in the society. When it comes to whatever time period after 750, very powerful monarchs were there. They gave very stability to the society. And they were ruling for very long time period. For example, Amogha Varsha, Rashtrakutas. Almost more than 60 years he was there. And Cholas, each and every monarch was a very powerful one. And they gave very so much stability to the society. Even today also, if our governments are stable, then society move in advanced forward direction. But if our political system is chaos, then all the dissidents or all the secessionism, Naxalism, terrorism, these things will emerge. That's why stability should be there in the political setup.
And also because not only political but also the religious conflict was there because
Then, religious reasons.
because the invaders had they were from different religions and they imposed their religion to our
Huh.
even a particular set of religion Buddhism was there and
In this part, Bhakti movement was emerging. Why Bhakti movement? There were some kind of social evils, and Bhakti movement tried to relieve people. So this has given integration in the society. On one hand, political stability is there, and naturally, the social integration is also emerging because of new ideologies. Bhakti movement is an ideology. Bhakti and Sufi movement, gradually it entered there later. First Bhakti movement, Alvar, Nayanar tradition started in this. Then it entered. Adi Shankara came from Kerala. Ramanujacharya in Tamil Nadu. Madhavacharya, Nimbarka. You see? And gradually it entered into this location. Ramananda, Chaitanya, Shankardeva. Now you see, when Vedic traditions were there, in this area there was no Vedic tradition. Vedic tradition percolated down. But later revival of this Vedanta entered once again from south too. So this is how Indian culture is integrating northern part and southern part.
so why is it this part was reforming itself
Hmm.
that part like the western part and the northern part they were only fighting in this because that time the Mughals also emerged and then
That time is, you are talking about, you have to specify the time period. Okay, okay. And there were continuous conflicts, migrations, conflicts. And before that, Arab invasions, Turkish invasions, Mughal invasions. Yes, all these things, that is why this part is always troublesome. Even today also this part is troublesome, Afghanistan, Pakistan area, because it is the mixture of ideas this side, and this side. And when such kind of conflicts are there, it takes slow time for any reason. But it is also the area where so many cultures integrate fastly. Because this side, Buddhism and Hinduism was also there. Islam also emerged. And before that, Zoroastrianism also there. And from this Central Asian traditions are also there. That's why you will find a different kind of culture in this location. Okay. Mm. 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 Northwest negative in the sense, in which dimension? Did you close that? Hmm. Here multiple religions are integrating. Hmm.
Ideas get exchanged,
Hmm.
ideas get exchanged, ideas, एक idea, not in imposing way,
Hmm.
in the exchange way.
Naturally integration. Hmm.
That means naturally that area also becomes far more intellectuals.
Hmm.
And if a place becomes more intellectual, there is more development because they have more way to think. So there were so many thinkers at that time. Islam, Sufism also a bit emerged from this
Right.
area.
Right. Right.
Brahmanism was there, Buddhism, there was the idea of the non-violence and all. So then these two ideas can go or to Sada, there should be more stability, there should be more of peace. Because introducing ideas were
Ha.
ideas were.
You are right. When there are so many ideas, progressive ideas, this also should be there. Political stability also should be there. You take Ashoka time period. If political stability is there, when new ideas emerged, conflicts also emerge. But only when political stability is there, that region becomes a place for all ideas. Otherwise, that region becomes a region of conflict. Akbar time period, many religions were there. But whenever there is a weak ruler, these religions, they start fighting against each other. And even today, for example, in West Asia, Sunni, Shia conflicts are going on. But wherever strong political setup is there, you will not find those conflicts. Differences are there. That's why this also there, and this also there, and another one is society. Society should be tolerant one. If society is not tolerant, conflicts become common. And that's why, if this is the intolerant society, these differences will become very strong and they split the society. Yes, that's why a strong political system should be there. That's why, Trapod, what we learned from history means, today we need political stability. Our constitution gives freedom of religion so that society becomes tolerant. Every person has their own choice. They can follow their religion, they can follow their ideology. Still, they're all subscribed to the Constitution of India that is giving political stability. And when you don't have such phenomena in other places, for example, Pakistan, the birth of Pakistan itself started with dividing the country. And that ideology is still creating trouble there. The same ideology became dominant when Bangladesh was created. Because this side one culture, this side one culture. This side Urdu, this side Bengali. And when these people wanted to have identity, when you try to impose your identity, conflict arises. Ultimately, it results in the split.
So, sir, this question that I asked, it might also be that the invaders that came, they tried to impose their religion instead of accepting the religion and accepting the beliefs and practice of the people that are already prevalent. So that was also maybe the cause of an instability following South India, the rulers as well as the populations. The majority of them followed the same religion. So there was an conflict because there was no imposition. They were just different sects. Because in Hinduism there were different sects. I mean, one Brahmanism, one Vaishnavism, one Shivaism, one others.
Yes.
But in Islam, like the invaders were they are mainly Islamic people, and they are only one. They have not been sects. They're sects like Shia Sunni, but they follow the same. Like, not unlike Hinduism, they follow different gods. So, sir, this can also be this reason because the invaders try to impose their religions and as well as the religious practices on the people of already inhabited India instead of accepting their ideas and views or maybe intermixing of them.
Yeah, it depends on the how strong you are politically. If you are encountering with a strong ruler, then once it also believe that whatever idea they are bringing, if they believe that is superior, then gradually that advanced idea is going to percolate in the society. So it multiple angles. One is political, and when it comes to South, the ideas always takes slowly enter into South. Because Islam also, for example, even much before this area, Islam entered this area through trade route. During the time period of Prophet Muhammad, 632 AD, the death of Prophet Muhammad. During his time period, established Islam, but this region was always having trade relations. Even before the rise of Islam also, trade relation was there. Indus Valley civilization and Mesopotamian civilization, trade links. And after that, Iranian Empire and Indian empires were having trade relation. That trade relation, geographically, we are proximate. Always, irrespective of the ideology, religions come and go. In Saudi Arabia, before Islam, there were some kind of practices. For example, Zoroastrianism was, and before that, some other kind of practices were there. Before that, some tribal practices were there. So these new ideas will come and go. But geographically, India and this area is closer. Harappan, even before that, when it comes to Africa, huh. Huh.
How can you link that part from 1500 AD or 2024 when you examine the उसको तो link up हो गए tradition का link and all those religious intermixing in social in the thinkers and the scholars are thinking. How can you link it? Because India is not now as it is of that time.
But geographically, we are same only, Indian subcontinent. When it comes to the national identity, it differs from time period to time period. Yes.
Like currently with India today or to India of that time.
Culturally, we were always integrated. Culturally, even today also, India and Afghanistan relations are good only. Indian movies are very much popular in Afghanistan. Today, in the sense, Indian ideas are percolated to this area through medium of movie. In those times, in the form of Buddhism, in the form of Jainism, in the form of Bhakti movement, though percolated. Yes, and that time it was the ideological exchange. It was the ideas were going. But later, they accepted a different religious identity, and here most of the people have different identity, but still our culture in 21st century or 20th century, for example, if you take movies, and they are very much popular. Why they are popular? Because they see some kind of commonality, common root, and whatever they see, they also identify that their lives are also like that. Their way of culture is also like that. Religion may be different, and that's why our food, our culture, our practices are still encouraged or accepted by Afghanistan still. And even Pakistan, common people also still accept that. But when it comes, yes, but when it comes to the political, this is how you have to see this angle. Political identity is different, the cultural integration is different. And India, USA, for example, people have different relations, and when it comes to national identity and when it comes to national priorities, their foreign policy is going to be different, our foreign policy is going to be different. But when it comes to geographically, they are close. For example, India, Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, common people have so many similarities. Only religion identity may be different, but the way they look is same. The way they dress is also going to be same. The practices, the language, for example, Bangladesh, they also speak Bengali, and this side also Bengali. Language is connecting. Tamil, Buddhism in Sri Lanka, and here also. Cultural integration, this is what we call in international relations soft power. Hard power means military. Soft power means the cultural commonality. If you have cultural commonality, it is very easy to influence the decision making.
So how globalization is different from yesterday to today? But yesterday, I mean, 70 to 1500, globalization is 70 to 100. So
Yes,
culture, trading, it is globalization.
true, true.
So how is globalization is different from today's time to yesterday's time? Like India's policy, India's globalization policy of today to as compared to the medieval period of time. When India was trading with Iran or maybe Dutch or Portuguese king, that is globalization happened. So how can we?
In one of the features of globalization that time and this time is speed. That time it was happening at very slow speed. But today it is happening in the fraction of seconds. Someone tweets in USA that is having impact in India. Immediately, in seconds. That kind of speed that was not there earlier. And the ideas exchange is also very fast. Technology exchange, very fast. Whatever is happening on the other side of the globe, now immediately we are also knowing. And whatever is happening here, they are also knowing. The speed, the technology is completely different of erstwhile time and present time period. The dimensions are going to be the same that time and this time also, but only the speed at which they are percolating is different completely. For example, if you listen in our stories, if someone wants to visit Kashi, and people are afraid of visiting Kashi because they don't know whether they will return or not. Because they have to travel by walk, and once again they have to come by walk, and in between so many forests are there, rivers are there, and they have to cross all these odds. Yeah, Huyan song also says his belongings were robbed during Harshavardhana time period. So all these things, even today also in Delhi itself we see the thieves, theft in 21st century itself. So this is the condition. Now in those times, all these physical difficulties were there. That's why the ideas used to exchange very slowly. And this sea area is close to this particular area. As a result, human beings started migrating from this area. It is natural that this area is going to become Neolithic settlement. Neolithic age emerged first in this location in 9000 BC itself. And gradually we see around 7000 BC. That is how ideas are going to percolate. And once these ideas reach here, it is going to be different kind of feature because of this geography, the people, the practices, everything is going to regional characteristic. You write one question just to have some idea. Delineate. Delineate. DE. Just a second. DELINE. Huh. Describe, delineate, and account. And account for the regional characteristics. Regional characteristics of the Neolithic period in India. Neolithic period in India. This was asked in 2016. You mentioned 2016. We will discuss about Neolithic later, but from our conversation, just I am trying to how UPSC can ask the question, whatever you are asking. What it is saying? Neolithic period. Now, as I said, ideas will come here. This region has different geographic features. Plain area and a little bit desert area. This develops a different kind of characteristics. And whatever they have, they used to exchange their ideas, trade, and with this area, this area, this area. And this side, this area also. That's why some of the valuable semi-precious items like lapis lazuli, they were mined in Central Asia or in Afghanistan. Because they are very close to this area, that's why they can import, they can export their goods. This develops a certain kind of regional characteristic. And when it comes to Neolithic period of Jammu and Kashmir, their geography is different. Hilly area, cold area, and the kind of houses they construct are going to be different. Hello? This is cold area, the kind of houses, that's why they created pit dwellings. They dig the ground and they lived. Why they lived like that? Because of the cold climate. That is one kind of regional characteristic. And the kind of material they get is different. The kind of material they get is going to be different. And when it comes to Deccan region or South India, Here the kind of material, raw materials, rocks are going to be different. Here you will find different kind of housing pattern, different kind of agriculture practice. In this area, they grew wheat, but in Gangetic Valley, they grew rice. And in this area, they grew ragi, bajra, because of the lack of availability of water. And all people are Neolithic only. But still, there is a difference. Even today also, how this question can be linked with the present day. Today, we are all Indians, but still we have regional differences. That is why we have different states, cooperative federalism, different concepts are emerging. Because every state has its own regional identity. But still, we are all Indians only. These regional identities are emerging because of the existing geography, existing resources naturally. For example, the coastal people they generally follow the practice of fish as the food item because that is availability. When you go to desert area, they have different food practices because whatever is available to them, And if you take the global context, these people may have different food practices. These people may have different food practices because whatever available to them naturally, they generally follow that. Everything they cannot import from the outside. Today, we are importing so many things, so many goods. And our food habits also changed because of the globalization. Whatever food is popular in USA, Europe, that kind of food also available in India. Soft power. But do we eat the same food every day, every time? No. Ultimately, we depend on what is available to us. Often we can take that food, but not every day. Everyday practices are dominated by our own resources, what is available to us. The question is same here also in this come to this. Likewise, in Mesolithic time period also, similar kind. That's why these differences. Few thousands of years difference, why it comes means because of slow percolation of ideals. Okay, now we'll continue to the Mesolithic. You draw the map. Draw the map. Mesolithic sites in India. This side. Go. this one. This area is having so many Mesolithic sites. Around Belan Valley. This is a river around present day Prayagraj, Allahabad. And you mention some of these sites, 1, 2, 3 like that, because many sites are there here. You just give a list of like this. Chopani Mando, Mahadaha, Damdama, Sarai Narharai, Lekahia, Rai, R-A-I, Sarai, Sarai Nahar. Just a second. Both. Some people, migration is a common feature. Yesterday we have seen what are the reasons. Can you remember some of the reasons why people migrate? Some resources might not be there, they go. And whenever they feel food is not available, they go. Animals not available, they go. In search of food, better life, they will go. And in search of betterment also, the existing people also will improve their livelihood. And how this change will take place? Now these people are there, these people are there. You can expect some kind of interaction. Some kind of interaction also. That's why, for example, in some of these settlements, the raw material which is used for developing, Mesolithic means microliths. Some of the raw material like chalcedony, raw material is required, stones are required. These stones are not locally available, but still these microliths are available there. What does it mean? They might have imported from the other place. That means some kind of interaction was there. Whenever you see some kind of interaction, ideas will exchange between both people. In that way, some new type of settlements also may take place, or in the same existing settlement, new development may take place. Or in the same existing development, new people also might come and join. All these phenomena, in that way. Yeah. In some of the, exactly. This is very crowded place in those contexts. And in some of the burial places, some wound marks were there. So possibility of, we don't know whether one village, other village were fighting, or within the village people were fighting. Conflict, natural. Because of those conflicts only people will migrate to the new place. This we cannot say exactly. But probably they used for both hunting also, self-defense also. Self-defense means from animals also, obviously. Probability also there. But because archaeology, we cannot, if it is a literary evidence, then we can read it and we can assume. But in archaeology, unless we get complete evidence in the form of proper DNA analysis, carbon dating analysis, stone or some weapons, unless we identify them clearly, we cannot derive that information.
Because in the cave painting also, like no such paintings of people fighting among themselves were depicted. Like people depicted about the mother being pregnant or an animal being pregnant, or like mosaic pictures were. That doesn't just say that the people were creative, as well as they knew that the life forms from mothers and also, and they had knowledge about it. But another question is that if you basically, I don't know if you ask them, but if they ask that, like when there is any particular place when there are different tribes of different culture or different families based together, there is bound to happen some conflicts. So are conflicts inevitable during the Stone Age period? Elucidated as well, so take down to glass. So how will I conflict? Because there is no evidence being found.
And more or less, these people, they used to live in bands. Band means like 20 people, 25 people. Probably single family, extended family you can say. And they used to reside in one place. So probably within the family, conflict might not be there, the kind of conflict which they kill. But whenever they come in contact with other, sometime cooperation will be there, and sometime conflict also might be there. Huh. Generally, with respect to Paleolithic Stone Age, it will not come. But when it comes to Vedic period, it may come. Because we have some kind of evidence, or at least some vague evidence which we can argue. Some fighting is there, some fighting not there. When it comes to Vedic and Harappan people, they shared the same geography land. Conflict might be there. And when it comes to Vedic Rigveda mentioned Haryupiya, that means probably that is Harappa only. God Indra, he was considered as warlord, and they used to worship him before going for war. And we have so much reference in Rigveda itself fighting each other. That's why we can at least argue whether it was there or not secondary, but at least we can have some material to argue. Mohenjo-daro, some skeletons were there. We don't know whether they are because of the fighting or because of some other disease locally. Skull also. That's why whenever there is there, questions will come. And they have weapons also, chariots also. Yeah.
So we get some evidence. Like this way, if they ask about Mesopotamia, because now people are evolving, people are settling in a permanent way. So that means there will be stress on resources, there will be stress on agriculture, there will be stress on land. So how can I interpret that people always live history and each other?
One possibility is the conflict might be there, but again we cannot say with conclusive evidence. What evidence we can say? And moreover, that time, today we have so much population, less resources. But that time, Population is very less. Resource also, more resources are there. That's why probability.
Population is less,
Uh,
but the tribes will be more.
huh,
Tribes are also, but still, like human nature is like
huh,
you get more.
definitely.
That will, like, how can I end up like the points which I can mention that there has been source of fighting and there has been no source of fighting. The points which are the points like I mentioned.
When it comes to fighting, the evidence in these location, it appears, you have to write like the terminology is going to be, it is not a definitive terminology. It appears some local conflicts are there. Unless we get the further evidence, we cannot definitely say that there were some kind of tribal wars. That language we have to use whenever there is no conclusive evidence. Yeah. Because more or less, whatever evidence we are getting, all these places excavated, explored after independence only. Some kind of progress is happening after independence. And there is a long way to go. Like you said, recently also, discovery is happening. Yes. And even more sites are to be discovered. And in some of these places, for example, this place, we have so many buildings. Underneath also some kind of settlement might be there.
The studies had already said that resources are like writing is less than the physical resources they get
Buried, washed away. They will be, settlement might be here, but due to rain, it might be washed away to this place. As a result, and in this place already some new settlement village settlement, urban settlement, towns might have merged. So below this ground, we have some other evidence. That's why archaeology is relatively young one in the Indian context. Unless we find a lot of evidence, we cannot really say conclusive, because this is one of the, when it comes to sources, one of the limitations of archaeology is this only. In literature, we can identify these. But when it comes to advantage of archaeology or limitation of literature is, in literature they may exaggerate. Small tribe, for example, Mahabharata. How many people were there in 800 BC, 900 BC? But the way we are dealing with Mahabharata is such a big level. So some exaggeration, that is the limitation of literature. Hmm. So as a UPSC student, how you have to give the evidence? You have to compare that time period with the Mauryan time period. In Mauryan time period, we have the population estimate by Megasthenes or Greek accounts are based on the amount of soldiers. If you take 10% of the soldiers, if 10% of the population is considered as the soldiers, we have reference like some 6,000 horses, 10,000 elephants, something, that number is there. Then you can extrapolate to, if you consider number of soldiers 10% of the population and you multiply with 10, that is the population. During Mauryan time period itself, this much population, and 600 before Mauryan, it would be less than that. So in that way, you have to give the evidence. So this is how in ancient India, always evidence play very, very important role in your answers. You have to come forward. In future, for example, when you are writing about something, population in Vedic, we don't have definite estimate, but we have some estimate of Mauryan time period. So in that way, you have to be, in Mauryan time period itself, this is the population probable, and it would be less than that. And we are even thousands of years before Vedic, it would be less than, even less than that. It is a band society. Hardly 20 people, 25 people used to live together. And whenever new people come in contact, cooperation might be there, conflict also might be there. But unless we get further evidence, concrete evidence, we cannot clearly say that there are tribal wars or conflicts among them. But as a human nature, as you said, conflict is inevitable. It might take place, but for writing answer, without evidence, we cannot write that. Yes. UPSC, when it comes to prehistoric site, it won't go that way. It asks the geographical spread, regional characteristic, or general description about the Paleolithic settlement. And most importantly, most of the questions come in the form of map marking. In the map marking, in the 30 words you have to write. In those 30 words, whatever evidence is available there, you write that. In Bagor, you will have some evidence, you write that. In this one place, in Belan Valley, in Chopani Mando, whatever. That way you have to write the evidence. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. Hmm. It has to be properly documented and it has to be properly argued. Unless we come up with a systematic approach in archaeological evidences, we cannot take it as the evidence, whatever literature is describing. In answers also, you can write only up to that level. Suppose if you want to write also, you should be very sensitively how to write. As of now, only this much evidence is available. With few evidences also, we cannot completely describe that age. When it comes to Rama and Mahabharata, they happened before the age of Mahajanapadas. For the first time, we see the urban revolution after Indus Valley civilization. We see second time revolution in the urbanization. That is 600 BC, 500 BCE. The archaeological evidence before 600 BCE, we don't have any archaeological evidence to show that it is a very vast urban area. Because this is Mesolithic, and hereafter it is going to be Neolithic settlement. And thereafter they are going to adopt copper as the metal, Chalcolithic stage they are going to enter. And thereafter, Vedic people are going to come. In later Vedic time period, that is why in later Vedic literature, you will find Sanskrit words along with Munda tribe words also. Because in Chota Nagpur place, today also Munda tribe is there. They follow their language. And some of these language terms entered into Vedic literature as well. That means some indigenous people who are already settling much before later Vedic people, they integrated some of these ideas into the Vedic literature. And who are these people? These people. So since Mesolithic time period, continuous settlements are happening. But today, India is overpopulated everywhere. But that time, population was less, resources are more. But interaction was always there. That is why these interactions, what evidence we get? The Munda tribe words in Vedic literature. Some of the beliefs of tribal people in Vedic literature. For example, Atharva Veda. It has many beliefs of non-Aryans. How it is possible? Because of the interaction. The words are interacted, and these entered into Deccan also. Forest people and magics and spells to relieve the diseases, superstition. Even in Mesolithic time period onwards, we see burial practices In those burial practices, they used to bury the goods related to the dead body. That means in the next life, they might be having some kind of belief that in next life, these goods, whatever food items they utilize, that may be required in the next life.
So this thing,
Hmm.
this has been processed in Paleolithic also, in Mesolithic, Neolithic also, and it has been continued in Harappa also.
Huh.
Harappa also some goods like in that unburned also we have been found shading also.
Yeah.
But how can it has changed so much that it has not been continued in Vedic age and all that?
That is what Indian identity. Because now you see this place. This is Neolithic. Neolithic settlements are there. Mehergarh is going to be the first Neolithic settlement, 7000 BC. And thereafter, so many settlements are about to emerge. From Neolithic, they are going to enter into Chalcolithic phase. And after Chalcolithic, they are going to enter into urban phase. And naturally, when settlements are moving from one stage to the other stage, ideas and beliefs also enter into the next life. That is how these Neolithic, Chalcolithic ideals entered into Harappan people also. Huh. In Burjaham, dogs were buried along with the. Yeah. We have evidence of, proper evidence of this side, this one. With Mesopotamia and Harappan civilization, we have evidence. But when it comes to Egypt, we don't have definite evidence. There is no definite evidence of interaction between Egyptian civilization and Indian civilization. But we have reference of Mesopotamia. But Mesopotamia is having relationship with Egypt. So that's why these beliefs enter into this, and these beliefs can come here. So in that way, you have to write the answer. Because of the geographical proximity, we have seals of Mesopotamia in, and we have Meluha. The term Meluha used by Mesopotamians, that is reference to Harappan people. And we have Harappan seals in these locations, in Dilman area, Oman area. So this shows we had interaction. When goods are interacting means people interacted. When people interact, ideas will exchange. That's why much before rise of Islam, these geographical areas are always connected, trade-wise. That's why during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad himself, here Islam reached this. Kerala. And there is one mosque also. That mosque is considered as the oldest mosque in India. Cheraman. When our Prime Minister went to Saudi Arabia, he gifted the image of that Cheraman to the King of Saudi Arabia. This is the soft power. So we are using the development of something that happened 1500 years ago now. Why we are using? If we have good relations with Saudi Arabia, we can import oil in the present context. And with Saudi Arabia, if we have good relations, we have good relations with some other friends of Saudi Arabia. Powerful area. Yes. In India also we have. So we have our own issues with Pakistan, and this is a kind of diplomacy to secure our borders. And many Indians are living in Saudi Arabia. It is the welfare of Indians also. And Saudi Arabia, the people who are going there, they are sending remittances. That is important forex reserve. And that is important for importing oil, for defense equipment and other technologies. In the 21st century, this relationship is important. But what we are using? Our history. We are using our history for the betterment of life today. Cheraman Mosque. Chera, Chola, Chera, Pandyas, Chera. I will write. Cheraman. So this shows how we were always integrated, how ideas keep on interact. Huh. Oldest church came, so oldest mosque also can be asked likewise. You write this, done? Now, you give one table, because this is just for description, only few sites we covered. Now you give the table. In Rajasthan, we have Bagor, Tilwara, Ganeshwar, Gujarat, Langnaj, Maharashtra, Patne, Uttar Pradesh, Chopani Mando, Mahadaha, Damdama. Any other place? Sarai, Naharai, Lake Ahia, Sarai Naharai. And this one, 20, Mesolithic, UP. In UP, they have asked Mesolithic, and this Mesolithic is one of these. It is related to Sarai Naharai or Chopani Mando, close to that area. Okay? Now, for this we need. Next one. Madhya Pradesh. When it comes to Madhya Pradesh, Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, Bhagor, Bihar. When it comes to Bihar, Paisra, Odisha, Kuchai, West Bengal, Birbanpur. In Andhra Pradesh, near Kurnool, you see this? ముచ్చెట్ల సింగిల్ నేమ్, సింగిల్ విలేజ్, ముచ్చెట్ల చింతమాను గవి. బిగ్ నేమ్, బిగ్ నేమ్. కర్ణాటక సంగనకల్లు, సంగనకల్లు. కేరళ తేన్మలై, తమిళనాడు తేరీ సైట్స్. Yeah, collectively called Teri sites. This how? And with respect to map point, this is very important. And up to Neolithic and up to here, Paleolithic and Mesolithic, generally questions did not come. Questions came in the form of sites only. We have to know as many sites, and for each and everything we have to know. Yeah, we have to remember. Otherwise 2.5 mark, 100% marks we can get if it is Maharashtra and here. For example, ostrich bird. In this place we discovered the eggs of ostrich in Maharashtra, Patna. So that shows ostrich eggshells with designs, with paintings on them. At that time, the climate might be different. So that kind of evidence, you have to learn. That I will give the list of sites. Probably either trade exchange. We don't know exactly. That is what archaeology has to identify. From which exactly how we identify. Because with respect to archaeological evidence, this is one of the limitations of archaeology. It will show exactly what is there, but it cannot say why it is there, how it came there. This problem. When it comes to literature, it describes, but it exaggerates. We don't know what exactly truth. We have to filter out. Similarly, here also, when it comes to archaeological evidence, you have to be, while writing answers also, only we can infer. We can infer from this archaeological evidence, probably these are the hypotheses. Only that way we have to write the answer when it comes to archaeology. You write one more question. To what extent archaeological materials are useful in understanding the progress of Neolithic man in India. Neolithic man in India. In bracket 2010. This UPSC question 2010. Now you see, whatever doubts you have, the question also you identify. To what extent We are getting some evidences, but to what extent it is useful for us. Yes. So this evidence comes like this, but we don't know exactly. There are many questions. That's why we have to corroborate archaeological evidence with literary evidence also. Archaeology and literature always go together when reconstructing the history. Suppose if you go literally by Vedic sources, and the kind of Vedic society, the way they describe is completely different. But the way archaeology showed us is completely different. Probably. That's why, unless we get the new evidence. So through what prism you look at, these things are there. We cannot. If you completely discard Vedic sources, again you are missing something. That's why we have to do the research impartially. An academician should be impartial. A historian should be impartial. Otherwise, truth will not come out in history. Only biased view only will come. One point of view is propagated, but the truth, complete truth may not come out. This is the problem with, in our so many questions, in our optional, we have to write this point. For example, in medieval time period, we have authors like Ziauddin Barani, Badauni when it comes to Akbar time period, Barani when it comes to Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq time period. Ziauddin Barani, he discard or he praised Firoz Shah Tughlaq, but he portrayed Muhammad bin Tughlaq as complete failure. He was imprisoned by him, and he wants to be good books of Firoz Shah Tughlaq, otherwise he will not be released. He enjoyed very good post in Muhammad bin Tughlaq time period. He was the administrator. That's why, but whatever resource we have to understand Muhammad bin Tughlaq, that is the major resource for us. Huh. Huh. Even famines also there during Mughal time period. Yes. For example, Megasthenes, he says there is no slavery at all in India. But slavery was there. But the way it was treated in Europe is different. That's why his prism is different, our prism is different. In fact, Megasthenes' original book is not available. Whatever Megasthenes has written, it is not available. His views are written by other authors in the Greco-Roman world. And they used to quote, Megasthenes said this, Megasthenes said this. But we don't know really Megasthenes said, or in the name of Megasthenes he himself is writing. So it is just by listening he is writing, or merely by seeing he is writing. Not discovered with. And even Ardhashastra also, till 1915, we could not identify. It was lost in the history. And somewhere in Tamil Nadu, it was identified. Ardhashastra book. So now you see, Ardhashastra somewhere, that was the development happening in this location, but that was preserved somewhere in Tamil Nadu. And it was taken to Karnataka in Mysore library. The person who discovered it also don't know that that is Ardhashastra. It was given to library. And the librarian, he was going through that book. And while he was going through that book, he identified that it is one of the biggest treasures of India. That is Ardhashastra. And that way, so many such things are there yet to be discovered, rediscovered. Unless we find those things, we cannot clearly say. But as of now, whatever evidence available, we have to write those answers at this level. And if you have other resource, we have to corroborate. King.
He's writing his own views.
Yeah.
So should I consider his view?
You have to write answer in that way only. There is a limitation to this rows. There is a eulogy. And same thing with Harshacharita Banabhatta. He did not mention his defeat in the hands of Pulakeshin too. But we come to know about this fact from Ravikirti. That's why at one point of time we have one view is propagated. But if we get some other view, then we will question the existing view. While you are writing answers also, you bring all these evidences. So you read Upinder Singh, you write the same question, this question for Mesolithic. This question is for Neolithic. Whatever question I have given, this previous year question for Neolithic. Regional character, second one you write. To what extent archaeology? First you read Upinder Singh and after that you write that question. Tomorrow you write that question and bring. In Mesolithic we have to see the art, Mesolithic art, Bhimbetka, very important because in general studies it is question coming. Yes, yeah. So you see in these places you got some evidence, you find that, you write that answer. Tomorrow we will cover the art part, then we will go to Neolithic. Okay then.